Louisiana Business and Industry Show. I'm Gordy Rush, along with our co-host, Tim Johnson. I'm excited. We're going to get up to Central Louisiana today. So new territory for the new show with you and I.
Well, think about this, Gordy. It's part of the country I come from.
Yes.
Chris will tell you it's God's country. Now, he's sort of a transplant here, too,
Yep.
but we're going to get into it. Chris Masingill's the president and CEO of Louisiana Central, one of our state's regional economic development organizations. We'll get into that a little bit, too. I've gotten to know him a little bit. He's doing great work up there, important work in that part of our state. Brother, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. Appreciate the opportunity.
You know, we like to start sometimes with a little bit about the path that led you to where you are. How'd you get into economic development?
I guess I'm going into my 22nd or almost 23rd year of a combination of between business and economic development and policy work and government work. I started way back when as a early congressional staffer doing appropriations of all things, which I learned a lot.
Great experience.
I learned about federal grant programs. I understood the importance of local community investment and local community engagement and participation and how those programs can be impactful. That helped introduce me to projects, funding for projects, economic development. And then I got tied to a utility called Entergy. You might be familiar with them.
I've heard about them once or twice.
But at that time, I was in Arkansas. That's where all my family comes from. And the gentleman I was working for is like, look, you need to get connected with our utility, Entergy, because they do incredible economic development work. So I called a guy that was a good friend of my boss, and he said, I'm supposed to call you, and you're supposed to teach me what I need to know about economic development. And remember, I'm like 28 years old, 29 years old. And he goes, yes, we can do that. And at the time, Entergy Arkansas was a major coordinator for economic development, doing incredible work there. And he goes, I'm going to send you down to Mississippi and to economic development basic course. And when you come back, you're just going to hang out with me and we're going to teach you. And the next thing I know, I'm doing it for a living. And here I am. And it's 20 something years ago, here I am. And now I get to work with not just Entergy, but organizations like CLECO. And they're an amazing economic development partner. They're probably my number one economic development partner in Central. They're certainly one of our biggest investors in economic development. And when you got partners like CLECO, like Entergy, like the state, like other utilities that support economic development, communities just don't, I think, really appreciate how important the utilities are in economic development.
That's right.
I mean, they're just they are a key
They're
partner.
on the front lines.
They're on the front lines, helping to create opportunities, advocating for their communities in ways that we never could as an individual economic development organization. So anyway, didn't mean to get off on that tangent, but I am in economic development because of some incredible partners and incredible people, and I love it. I took to it immediately. I'm like, oh man, this is an amazing way to really blend your passion. My faith is incredibly important to me, Tim, and it helps serve as a guidepost for me. And it's just a great way to stay grounded with work that I can see every day. They may not always agree with you. They may not always appreciate the projects that you're working on, but I can lay my head down on my pillow. One, I can be extremely thankful. I feel like I'm very blessed. I've got to do some incredible stuff in my career. I believe in the work of economic development. I take it extremely seriously, and I'm proud to be in Central Louisiana.
If you boil it down to its essence, Chris, isn't economic development really about providing jobs and opportunity, a better quality of life, a higher standard of living for the people in a given community, right? We talk about billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar projects, and we talk about the business of attracting, and we talk about incentives, and we talk about investment and all those things. But when you boil it down, right, it's really about creating jobs and opportunities so families can have better futures.
I don't think I could have said it any better, Tim. And when you do that, when you feel like you're successful in making progress, you're expanding the tax base. And folks may never know your name. They may never understand what you do for a living. Heck, my mom still doesn't understand what I do for a living.
That's right.
But I know every day we get up, we tackle the challenges that are in front of us. We become advocates for our existing businesses because we have to stay focused on the ones we already have,
Right.
making sure we're knocking down barriers, we're helping to deal with issues that make them successful. And then we continue to be focused on the new investment. And that's exactly right. We're trying to keep the opportunities we have, create new ones so we can keep our kids and grandkids. People say it all the time. The governor reinforces it. Secretary Bourgeois, she really got so excited about this work because she's living it in real time. She has a young person in her home that's going to college and graduating college, going, what are they going to do next? And she tells the story all the time, and her passion, it's infectious. You understand. Look, this is real. This is meaningful. We want our kids to stay here. We don't want them to get recruited to go to Houston or Nashville or Atlanta. I mean, yeah, okay, great. If you want to do that, we want you to come back. We want you to come back and make sure, but you don't have to. And particularly now. I mean, look at what we've accomplished just in the short years with Governor Landry. He just announced the other day $150 billion.
Yeah.
Listen, this is an amazing opportunity for Louisiana. We're having a renaissance economically that we have not seen in generations.
Lifting people out of poverty.
Oh, and you do that one job at a time.
That's right.
And it's real, it's tangible, it's making an impact. I'm so excited to be a part of just the team in Louisiana doing economic development, even with the landscape and the environment of all of the NIMBYism and the anti-everything. Listen, that's just part of it. That's just the world we live in right now. We still are going to stay focused on being accountable, being transparent, being communicative. It's not going to deter us from still working with businesses, trying to recruit investments in our communities, and you just have to deal with it.
Let's talk about your organization, Louisiana
Yes,
Central,
sir.
one of our state's regional economic development organizations. Talk about its footprint, its mission, its leadership.
So, to your point, Louisiana Central is one of the 8 state-designated regional economic development organizations, and I get that question, what does that mean? Well, it means that we are the point of coordination on behalf of the state, on behalf of our local government partners, to help facilitate, project manage, and make sure that we're doing the work of economic development, that we are facilitating the process of economic development. We're one of the larger regional EDOs as it relates to footprint. I mean, I literally go from the Sabine River on the Texas side all the way to the Mississippi River on the east and everything in between. It truly is the belt of the state. It's the wood basket of the state, but we've got some amazing economic development assets. We've got some legacy companies that have been a part of Louisiana business history for over 100 years. And it's important. And when what we do, we're charged with making sure that we are managing that economic development process, Tim. And we do that in a lot of different ways. I mean, look, you can't be a one-trick pony in economic development today. You can't just have one singular focus. There are 16 practice areas of economic development. Not that we can do all of them all at the same time, but we try to understand what we can bring to the table. We're in a situation with Louisiana Central that we're in a reboot phase. I've been on the ground now for about 10 months, and we're doing a retooling, a repositioning, a rebooting of the organization. We've just went through a pretty significant strategic planning process that's directly tied to the statewide plan. We have alignment. We did that with a great deal of intentionality. One, for the first time in 16 years, we had a statewide strategic plan, and we were given the directive that the regionals needed to make sure that we had focus, that we had connectivity and alignment. And one of my first directives was to make sure that we in Louisiana Central had a strategic plan that tied into the state, that was locally driven, but also understands how we connect, how we overlap, and how we can really leverage that focus. And that's where we are. And so we've launched what we call Elevate Central. And it's our 5-year strategic plan, really focused on 4 pillars of opportunity. The first one is really about the organization, right? We got to elevate the organization. We got to get back to our core We got to increase our level of subject matter expertise, our level of sophistication and capacity, bring in resources, right? We get resources from the state. We get resources from a host of different areas, but we got to leverage that. We'll never have enough money to do everything we want, but we got to be good stewards of our investors that believe in economic development, that believe in this mission, the state's resources that they're investing in us to be that center point of connectivity and coordination and alignment for economic development. Because in our footprint, Tim, which you know very well, we're probably one of the most rural regional footprint in the entire state. Alexandria, Rapides Parish is the kind of the economic core. It's also the population core for the 10 parishes. And so for us, we believe in rural economic development. We know what that's like. We understand an agricultural economy. It's a big part of our economy. We're almost an $18 billion economy in central Louisiana with the 10 parishes. Agriculture, agribusiness is a big part of that. Manufacturing is a big part of that. Aero defense. In the military, it's over $4.4 billion contribution to our economy in central Louisiana. Healthcare is $1.6 billion. Manufacturing, equally as important. We are a manufacturing corridor for the state. We contribute to the GDP significantly in central Louisiana because of that legacy manufacturing corridor that we have. So our strategic plan is anchored in that. Number one, we're going to elevate the organization. We got to make sure that we can deliver on our mission and objectives. And then number two is the actual strategies for economic development, right? We got to take a step back, right? We got to okay, how do we tap into this amazing momentum at the state level? Are we putting the strategies together that are relevant to today's economic landscape? Are we doing the kind of attraction? Are we developing sites at a level that we need to be competitive? Just the meat and potatoes, Tim and Gordy, about how are we doing the blocking and tackling? Just the hardcore, day-to-day work in economic development to create those opportunities. We got to up our game, right? We can't rely on somebody else to save us. We got to get better aligned. We got to get better coordinated. And we got to get the pads on and get into the ring and go to battle. And that's what I feel like I've been brought in to do, to take a different perspective, to try to help with coordination and alignment. And that's a major pillar of that plan. And then third, it's about stronger strategic partnerships, looking at the strategic initiatives that we're focused on. I'll give you an example. Labor participation, right? You've seen that at the state level. Mm-hmm. Secretary Showen and the governors made it a priority for the state. We picked that up early during our strategic planning process. We recognized that for whatever reason, and there are some good reasons, some people are on the sidelines. Well, it used to be the unemployment rate we used to talk about a lot, right, in this business. We don't talk about that very much anymore. It's about the labor participation. How do we get people off the sidelines, either through technical training, wraparound services, other linking job seekers to employers? Is it dealing with childcare? And we have an amazing coordination with helping to deal with childcare issues in central Louisiana. What the Rotary Club's doing, what Patrick Moore is helping to lead is really a model for the entire state, how we've invested in that, because we know transportation and childcare is one of the biggest barriers for people not participating in the workforce. But for us, we have a higher issue with that. We've got one of the lower participation rates in the entire state. Meanwhile, of the 8 regions, we're actually third in job growth. I mean, we're seeing some real opportunities for central Louisiana. Mm-hmm. Of the 8 regions, we're third. Head of New Orleans, head of the capital region.
How about that?
So the opportunity's there. And we just got to get focused on how we do that. And we got to take a look at our strategic initiatives. Workforce training and education is going to be continuing to be a major focus for us. We've got unbelievable educational partners in central Louisiana. But the labor participation is one that we're going to continue to focus in on, and doing more to help support small business and entrepreneurship. We have a donut in the state when it comes to that, as it relates to really drilling in, providing more support services for existing small businesses, along with those that want to start and shoot up. Right, it's the startups and shoot ups. We got to flood the zone, as they say, put more into the funnel, and so we do a lot of work around that. We've got a program called the Business Acceleration System. It's funded by the Rapides Foundation. It is an amazing program. In my over 2 decades in this work and being a strong advocate for small business support services and technical assistance, the work that we've been doing with entrepreneurship-led economic development, I'm a big believer in that. This program, which celebrates its 20th year this month, has had an incredible impact. It is one of the most incredible support programs that I've seen in my work, and it's because of the Rapides Foundation funded it. Gary Perkins has led that program now for 20 years. It is probably one of the best legacy programs for Louisiana Central, and certainly in small business and entrepreneurship, and it's an incredible program. And the reason why is the coaches and the ability to stay with a small business owner and an entrepreneur for 5 years. Now, for 5 years, because of the funding that's been provided by the Rapides Foundation, we can stay hitched with a company. So that means they trust us. We get inside, we see the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the coaches that are working with these individual small business owners, as long as a small business owner meets their benchmarks, they hold their end of the bargain, we're going to stay with them for 5 years, and they have to continue to increase their revenue. And so, listen, it's not rocket science. More revenue, more investments are made in that, more jobs that are created at the local level. And we still know, in the main, across the board, small businesses are still the number one job creators. And so for places like Central Louisiana, that's a big deal. And so that's the kind of strategic initiatives and partnerships we want to continue. Hey, I think we have a friend that just joined us.
It's the first time we've had 4 people on the set.
I mean, how about that? Hey, get him a mic.
He got me so pumped up. We got spiders dropping in. I'm excited about that.
Look, I'm sorry. I get a little evangelical
like it.
about this work. It's serious business for me.
I love it. I love the
We're
excitement.
proud of the partnerships that we have. The Rapides Foundation was a key funder of this program, continues to be. In my initial assessment, by being on the ground, this is one of the programs that we wanted to hang on to, we want to lean into, we want to build, we want to continue to grow because it just has such an impact. And then lastly, and then we can get to these other questions, but the last pillar of opportunity is what we call our communication and marketing. One of the things that I picked up during the roadshow that we did, visiting all 10 parishes, is that we got to do a better job telling our story.
Who are you?
Yeah. This is a pretty cool place that contributes to the culture of Louisiana, just the real character of Louisiana, and it's so different than other. That's what makes Louisiana so special and so amazing, right? We too have a unique culture. We too tap into all the gumbo of Louisiana. We got that represented in Central Louisiana, and it's really cool. So we have to do a better job of communicating our story. I feel like part of my job, Tim, is not just to be the chief economic development guy with the state and with the locals, but also being the chief marketer, the chief advocate, the ambassador, quite frankly, the defender. I say this to my board all the time, many of our stakeholders, our elected officials, in doing my due diligence in preparing for the transition. I can't tell you how many times people said, "You're going where? Wait a minute, you're leaving the North Shore to go where?" And I love the North Shore. It was great. I loved my time there. And this provided an opportunity for me, and I love good challenges. But I started diving into that more. And then people would ask me, "Why are you doing that?" Well, because this is an opportunity to really grab a hold. People are hungry for opportunity. They lean into business investment and opportunity, even with all the NIMBYism and the anti-everything. In the main, people want opportunity. They want their families to prosper. They want their communities to have growth. They're tired of seeing the out-migration, their local rural communities dying on the vine. Man, that just motivates me even more. And so I feel like part of my responsibility is to be a defender. And if you're going to come and you're going to attack one of my communities, listen, I'm going to take this is where Trump does such an amazing job, right? You attack him or his people or what he believes in, he's going to punch right back.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's a good lesson, right? For my job is to defend my communities, to highlight why we are a good place to start a business, grow a business, and to make other investments. And if you're going to come into my community and you're going to try to highlight our challenges, and every community has challenges. Rural America has had challenges. It just didn't happen overnight. You know this community better than I do, Tim, but the reality of it is that I'm from rural America too. I grew up above a jail. So I understand these perspectives. But if you're going to come into my area and you're going to attack us, you're going to try to make this clickbait videos to say, oh, God, this is the worst place for this or that, and, oh, crime is terrible. Listen,
be prepared.
Be prepared. Because, one, you're not going to intimidate me. I don't do well with bullies. And I have no problem debating you because this is a fabulous community. This is an amazing area. It's one of the jewels of Louisiana. And our people are proud. We've got unique opportunities. We got a strong workforce. We have great connectivity. We are at the right geographical location. We got unbelievable infrastructure that's been built up because it was such a location for the military over the years. We got unbelievable infrastructure. We don't have an issue with water. In fact, I've got mayors wanting to sell water so they can create opportunities for their people. We got rail. We got a navigable waterway that's completely underutilized. We got a port, several ports in our footprint. We've got all the right ingredients. So now it's about getting coordinated, aligning strategies, doubling down, getting the pads on, getting in the ring, and going to work.
Getting after it. Yep.
So I'm sorry to be so long
No.
about that, but
Hey.
you know, when I start talking about these four
No.
pillars, I'm proud of the work we did on this strategic plan. It has really given me focus. It's given me clarity. Yes, we've got challenges. We're in a unique part of the state. It's not going to be easy. We've got limited resources. But I think with the partnership that we have with LED, the leadership that Governor Landry's been providing, the support that he and his team have been providing me and Louisiana Central as a part of the state economic development team, the work that LED's doing, Secretary Bourgeois. I mean, listen, we're not backing up.
Well, you're in a good spot, Gordy. I Chris mentioned it, and you and I have dealt with it as well. There is a fueled by social media. There is this entire movement in our state to be what Chris mentioned, against things. And Chris has faced it in Central Louisiana in a significant way. In fact, some of the most aggressive anti-industry, anti-everything, not in my backyard organizations are centered in his
Ground
in his
zero.
region, right? Talk about how you're dealing with that.
Well, you know, first and foremost, I think you have to be willing to put yourself out there. Communication, providing information, transparency, accountability are core values for us in economic development, and certainly us in Louisiana Central as we are repositioning this regional economic development organization. And you have to be willing to take the tough questions, recognize that their whole purpose in many times or many focuses, you know, their whole mission is to create dissent, right? It's not about the value of the certain thing that they're trying to be against. We've now learned that many of these organizations are being funded by pretty extreme groups outside of the state. It's been well documented now, particularly like, for example, now they're on the data centers.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in economic development, data centers, modern data centers, right? This new generation of data centers. We're doing it right in Louisiana. We're setting some very clear standards. We're holding companies and projects accountable. We've learned from other states. And I've shared this with many community leaders and business leaders that inquire about this. We've got a strong network of economic developers across the country that got various working groups. We've had the fortunate opportunity to learn from how Virginia's handled it. I mean, the majority of the data centers still in the country are in Virginia. And it's now that they're trying to spread out. And this is about national security. This is about making sure that we're positioning for a strategic defense-related positioning. All you got to do is, Deborah Randolph, she's our representative in the Louisiana Military Advisory Committee on behalf of the governor, and it's been amazing. She brought back some new information here recently. They had a presentation by generals in the Army and the military, and they're like, look, this is much bigger than what people think. This is why you've got intervention by foreign countries, particularly like countries like China, that are trying to beat us to this because they can. For them, this is a strategic effort for them to prevent America from leading the world when it comes to AI, and we are on the front lines of that. And so, yes, this is about opportunity and investment and job creation, but this is about our country. This is about being strategic. This is about creating an opportunity for us to lead globally, and this is about defending the homeland against foreign intervention. And we know it's been well documented. You've got these international companies in countries like China that are specifically trying to fund, organize, and create this level of dissent with these organizations. But at the end of the day, the reality of it is that we still have a responsibility to take tough questions, provide information,
and respond to legitimate concerns.
Tim, you're absolutely right. In fact, we welcome that.
Yeah.
We welcome the opportunity to share information, to be fact-based, right? But oftentimes what I've seen so far being on the ground in central Louisiana, many of these groups, their whole purpose is to spread misinformation, disinformation, discourse. They play good cop, bad cop, and their whole purpose is just to create this animosity and this dissent. And they don't care about the truth. You can give them, but it doesn't matter. They're not going to believe anything anybody says, and their whole job is to seed dissent. And what I oftentimes, and I've made a commitment to our community leaders and our business leaders, we'll show up any place. We'll provide all the information, and we're not afraid of that.
And if they don't shout you down, you can have an opportunity
right.
to
That's a good
to
point
talk
too,
about
because they
facts,
love that.
Right? They do, and that's part of the part of the modus operandi.
That's correct.
It's always the worst case scenario, and I read it on the internet, so it must be true.
Yeah. It's funny, and you'll be in certain public sessions or town halls, et cetera, and people are literally using Claude or Chat. They're trying, and then bringing stuff out. I'm like, please keep doing that. Keep using that. Please keep using that. By the way,
AI to oppose AI. That's pretty interesting.
Keep doing that because we want to keep. And by the way, all these amazing pictures and videos you take, and it goes to the cloud.
Yeah.
It's not an actual cloud, right? You realize that it's a physical place, and
exactly.
so. But anyway, look, I mean, Louisiana has created an opportunity to really lead on this front. One, because the governor has said, look, there's certainly not going to be an impact on ratepayers. They're going to pay their way. And we've learned, and not all data centers are equal, and how states have handled the data center projects is not equal as well. And now we are in this game. Now Louisiana has had an opportunity to be competitive because of the incentive package that we did a couple of years ago to get Meta, and the way that we've set the new standard. And quite frankly, and you guys know this because you follow it so closely, the data center companies themselves they've also learned. And you have these companies being proactive, coming. It's like, hey, we've learned, we've adjusted. Technology is advanced, particularly like the loop system with the water. Most every new modern data center now, in this generation of data centers, they're not water users.
Yeah, water consumption is very low.
The equivalent of a couple of households,
just
like we use in our everyday house. Now it's at a bigger scale because it's 1 million square feet.
Yeah,
but it's for bathrooms and break rooms.
Yeah.
And that this is a mixed glycol system that they use for cooling. That technology is advancing every day. Technology to help with noise, that's being addressed. Light pollution. There's about 7 or 9 major issues that are legitimate that have come up through the course of the last several years that now we've created strategies for. The companies have like, oh, yep, we're going to fix that. And now the states are going, we're going to put measures and safeguards in place to make sure that we're holding the companies accountable and that we are mitigating the potential impact. These are some of the best types of economic development projects that you can get.
Yeah. I know Gordy's going to wrap us up here pretty quickly, but as we wrap up the show, just your final thoughts, Chris, your message to Louisiana's business community, your message to Cenline.
Well, first and foremost, thanks for giving me the opportunity to be with you, Joe.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that you guys do some great work. This is an important platform for information sharing, and you guys need to be recognized for that.
Thank you.
Number 2, we have an incredible opportunity in front of us. And I believe that the current economic development team, the state leadership team, the governor's focus on business investment, job growth, stemming the tide and creating these opportunities, they're here. And we're going to still be aggressive and go after them. And we're going to do it in an accountable way. We're going to do it in a way that is transparent. And we're going to facilitate the business of economic development. And for my friends and colleagues and investors and supporters in Central Louisiana, buckle up. Because I am extremely optimistic and I believe that our best days are still ahead of us. And God's willing, we can do it and we can show people that it can be done the right way. And I believe that we're just blessed, and I feel blessed to have this opportunity, and we're not going to be deterred or distracted by those who want to sow dissent, because we know that we have an ethical obligation to do the work the right way. If you're in economic development, if you're a certified economic developer, you've got a standard of practice just like a doctor and a lawyer, and we take that very seriously. And everybody that I continue to work with in economic development, our community leaders, they want their communities to succeed. Sure. And I believe that we're on the path to do that, and we just have to stay focused. We have to stay committed, and I believe that it's our turn in Central Louisiana, and I think we've got the right type of opportunity, and we're certainly trying to build the right type of economic development organization. And we don't always get it right, Tim, right? Yeah. We make mistakes.
Oh, everybody does.
And we learn from that, and we turn around and we pick it up, and we adjust, and we've got amazing partners in Central Louisiana, and thanks, glory be to God.
Gordy, it's amazing what enthusiastic leadership can do. I'm ready to go fight for jobs.
I'm ready to button up the chin strap and move to DeRidder. I'm pumped up.
Oh,
I'm excited.
Let's do this. I could use you. I need all the help I can get. I'm not very smart, so I need all these smart people around me to make this work.
Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
I'm honored. Thank you.
For Tim Johnson, I'm Gordy Rush. This has been the Louisiana Business and Industry Show.